It's about time to start prepping the red wine sauce and also the oven-baked potatoes. Always take enough time to prepare the sauce because good things take time and the sauce really needs to reduce down for the texture to be exactly as it has to be, nice and soft and creamy but not too runny. First and foremost, we need to pre-boil the potatoes. So I have roughly 800 grams of potatoes here. We're going to put those into the pot. And a pro tip for you, boil the potatoes along with a celery stick, a bay leaf, and also some garlic. So those three things will give the potatoes an interesting and a very, very nice deep taste. In some salt, of course, and then water on, and we're gonna pre-boil them for 10 minutes. So the potatoes are doing their magic, and now it's time to start working on the sauce. So for the sauce, I'm going to be using some leek, some garlic, also some oil, of course, a bit of balsamic, some rosemary, and a bit of this and that. So let's walk through this. First and foremost, for the wine selection, how to select the perfect wine for the sauce. I also asked Mikk before in our discussion about which wine to actually use. But his point was also that if you have any wines left over in the fridge that have gone bad, then those things would be the perfect ones to use for the sauce. So if you have any leftover wine, use it up. I selected a very average, simple wine, a Shiraz from the regular grocery store, and we're going to be using that. But first and foremost, we need to chop up the leeks and the garlics. Yep. Leeks have this nice tendency of when we cook them slow and low, they get this beautiful honey-like taste to it. So if we put them to the pot and we just let it simmer on low to medium heat over a few minutes, then it takes this beautiful honey type of flavor, which adds a nice kick to your sauce. So I'm putting 2 quite big pieces of garlic. You don't need to chop them up too small, so we will drain the sauce through a sieve afterwards anyway, but we just want to get the taste from the garlic. And to the leeks. So usually with the leeks, I just cut in and go for a nice rough amount, let's say roughly 10 centimeters, something like that. That is going to be good enough for the base. Then a bay leaf in some oil and the heat on, and we will start simmering. So we have the leeks going on here, and we're searching for a bit of that brown color and to see that the taste and the scent starts coming off. So once you have that, it's time to add in some balsamic vinegar. And we will be opting for about a spoonful, 1 to 2 spoonfuls. Let's get that in. Yeah. Amazing. That's what we need. Give it a nice stir. And then it's time for wine. Once you have that beautiful texture, you have this little bit of those brown bits stuck to the pot. That's the best part. That's the thing they really need. Time for wine. So gonna add in about 2 glasses. And we want to get the heat up to high at first. So we would start to see the boiling, and then we will reduce the heat to medium and let it simmer down and reduce basically to half the amount that it was before. So now the potatoes are ready. The timer is beeping. Let's get the gloves and let's drain the potatoes. So we don't want to keep the garlic, we don't need the celery stick, but we just want the pre-boiled potatoes. And then we remove the celery sticks. We want to add in now a little bit of oil, definitely salt. Going to peel it and then use a garlic press because for the potatoes I really want to see the mushy pureed garlic, not the chunks, because we want it to go around the potatoes, wrap its gorgeous tastes around the potatoes. Bit of oil. And now to the secret ingredient. So one of the top chefs of Estonia taught me how to make the crispiest oven potatoes. And the secret is actually egg whites. So we have the pre-boiled potatoes, we have the garlic in, we have the salt and a bit of oil or the goose fat, whatever you're using, in. And we're going to be pouring on, it's about 1 egg white over a large egg. Gonna pour that on, and then we're gonna toss. We're gonna toss and see that everything gets nicely and evenly mixed. So the potatoes we have now in, we added the egg white, we added some oil, we added some garlic, and we added some salt. Let's give it a nice toss. And we heated up the oven to 200 degrees. And now before we cook it, when I put the potatoes into the oven, I'm going to increase the heat to 225 degrees Celsius because I want the top of the potatoes to go really, really, really crispy and to get that nice crunchy base on top of the potato. So in they go, and soon enough we will be ready and done. So here we see already that the wine has reduced down quite nicely, and we are ready to work on the sauce. So now we would want to add some spices and the butter before we move further. Usually you would actually be using also some stock for the wine sauce, but why I love this is basically I'm using butter instead of the stock, so that's giving the sauce a super rich flavor. It's not the lightest sauce, I would say so, but it sure tastes really, really good and really luxurious. But for the sauce, we would want to add in a bit of herbs. I also have the fresh rosemary there, so you can fairly use the fresh one. But I'm giving you a pro tip. So if you have bought those beautiful herbs at home, and let's say you have been away from your kitchen for a few days and they have dried out, no need to stress. You can actually still use that stuff, so don't throw it away. Try to get the best out of everything that you bring in. So I have a dried up rosemary, a very sad one over here, but still tastes and smells like rosemary, and we can fairly use it. So from the dried rosemary, I can actually get the leaves. Super easy to get them from here. I'm just going to go for, let's say, a spoonful, a soup spoon, bigger spoon type of amount, and I'm just going to go for those. Give it a nice squeeze. In they go. If you would be using fresh rosemary, basically do the same, rather the same amount. And now with the rest of the rosemary that you have going on here, I would just rip the leaves off, store them in an airtight container or in an airtight little jar, and you can use all of that rosemary. No need to throw it away. You can get the best value for your money and from everything that you bring into your house. Do not throw those beautiful, gorgeous things away. We're going to be adding roughly 100 grams of butter. You can also go for more if you're feeling very adventurous. I'm going to go for 100 grams, roughly. There we go, 2, and that's about 100. We want to give it a nice stir, and the butter will start melting immediately. Also pepper. We definitely need some good black pepper. It's going to give a good kick to the sauce. Some very, very strong mustard. A small bit, that's roughly the size of something like that I would be going for. I'm gonna put that in, and we're gonna stir. So now you already see that actually the butter starts making the sauce creamy immediately. Amazing. Let's let it sit. And it starts already moving towards the texture that we actually want to see for the sauce. If we're cooking tomato sauce, if we're cooking wine sauce, and anything that has this acidity to it, then we need to balance the taste with something sweet. You could be adding a bit of honey. You could be adding some sugar. I will be using today coconut palm sugar. So this is one of my favorites that I always use if I'm prepping tomato sauce, pasta bolognese, if I'm cooking wine sauce. This balances out perfectly because it has a slight caramelly taste twist to it. And the GI of the coconut palm sugar, instead of the regular brown sugar, which is roughly 60 to 70 on a scale of 100, then this one is 35. So I want to opt for, let's say, a spoonful or 2. Just adjust it to your taste. You don't want to get that the sauce would be sweet, but you just need to balance out the flavor. So that's the only thing that you actually need the sugar for. Turning down the heat so it's boiling quite intensely, and I already see it starting to thicken up. And then last but not least, I have this gorgeous little baby over here. It's coming from one of the top chefs in Estonia. Really grateful to Raman, thank you. It's a chili, garlic, and ginger jam concentrate, and it has a very, very cool subtaste that it adds to the sauce. If you don't have anything similar to that, you might want to use maybe just a slight bit of sriracha sauce, or you can always just chop in a few gingers, a few chilies, and a bit more garlic to intensify the tastes that are going on in the sauce. But I'm going to be adding a little bit of that jam, just about a teaspoon, something like that, and let's give it a nice mix. And now the sauce is here boiling away, and you can already see the consistency is already nice and creamy. We want to get it a little thicker, so let's keep it down here boiling for a few more minutes, but let's have a taste. So let's see how the tastes are combined. That butter, I like it. There's quite a lot of acidity here still, so I would want to now balance it out with some salt and maybe a slight bit more of the sugar. Now it's good. It's perfect. And the luxurious taste and nice thickness that's coming from the butter, it's to die for. Really to die for. Well worth the butter. Yummy. We're almost ready to drain the sauce. Let's leave it there. And then last but not least, we still have to work on the red cabbage stir fry, stew, something, call it whatever you want, but it's going to be delicious. So the classic version to serve on Christmas Eve or during holidays is of course sauerkraut. But if you've had a little too much of the sauerkraut and you're rather fed up with that, and you're searching for something that's maybe a bit more interesting or maybe a bit more modern, then you can opt and try out some different versions of red cabbage. So today I'm going to be using red cabbage. I have roughly 500 grams of red cabbage here. Going to be adding some dried cranberries along with some thyme, some balsamic vinegar, and then some salt and a little bit of this and that. We're going to cook it again on slow and low because that's what the holidays are for. It's all about chilling, having a glass of nice wine and no rush. So take it easy, take it slow, and let's just chop up this little cabbage over here. You want to keep it very, very thin slices of the cabbage. If you have a mandolin, you can use that. We're going to be using a knife, and we just want to go really as thin as you can. Yeah, let's see. So we have those over here. So roughly, let's say 1 to 2 millimeters of thickness. So we have the red cabbage over here, ready and chopped up. And the first thing that goes on the pan, you can take a wild guess. Of course, it's going to be oil and garlic. I'm a huge fan of garlic. And we're going to be pressing that garlic, so into the press. And then on the pan, in some oil, turn on the heat, and then start to simmer it off. A really nice tip that I got from a pan producer is that if you want your pan to have a long, beautiful, gorgeous life, then first put the pan on the stove, heat it up to, let's say, at 4 on a scale of 9, add it to 4, then it starts slowly and gradually heating up, and only when you add the garlic and the oil then turn up the heat. So let the pan heat up gradually over a few minutes, then you will extend the longevity of your pan. So let's give it a nice toss. And now turn down the heat. So the cabbage has slightly cooked, so you can already see it's starting to get darker in its beautiful purple color, and it's time to add in the dried cranberries. So 100 grams of dried cranberries goes in. Let's give it a bit of a mix. This will add this beautiful sweetness to the taste. And let's close it off with a lid, and then let's take a bit of thyme. So some fresh thyme, a decent amount. Let's say roughly a spoonful or 2 spoonfuls, and in it goes. Thyme. Let's mix it through, adding a little bit of salt, of course, some black pepper, and then to the secret ingredient, we want to be adding some balsamic vinegar. So now you can see that after we added the vinegar, the red cabbage takes on a beautiful, very, very red color. So the vinegar helps to maintain the gorgeous color. Close it up with a lid, let it sit there. I would turn the heat to 7 on a scale of 9. So we want to keep the heat, but we also don't want to go too low. So let's see what's going on here. Let's grab a fork. And you can already see it has softened up, so it's nice and soft, gorgeously purple. Will add this nice little touch of color to your Christmas table and to your dish. So we are ready to serve. And first and foremost, you can either put the sauce to the base, to the bottom of the plate, or you can also serve it inside a cup, like I like to do. Then you can actually pour the sauce over teeny tiny bit at a time, and your plate won't be drained or let it sort of flood it over with the sauce. But you can do either or, whichever way you prefer. Let's start the serving off with the potatoes. Nice and crisp. Then we want to serve the cabbage some way that it would look nice. You can also just put it on the plate. It will look nice with its color anyway. But I have those little secret little things over here that I like to use. So we can put the cabbage inside of one of those things, just press it down. So we have then here the potatoes. The little dish for the sauce is ready. And the cabbage, we will remove it, and then it would look nice. The crispy duck, the really rich wine sauce, and along with the beautiful wine that Mikk recommended us. Greetings and shout out to Mikk. Thank you for the amazing tips shared for the holiday wines. Love you all. Take care and ciao ciao.